Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Gregory Alba is here.
Yep. And Jordan Ross.
Jordan Ross from the channel
Cinematics.
Yes. Jordan and I know each other from many, many years ago.
Over a decade.
Just
wee lads.
Where we did emotional memory exercises.
Oh, yeah. You and Kent.
And was I had to talk to my dad, and you...
Y'all were picking on me. And you called me a leprechaun.
That was my go-to insult.
You didn't want to be too mean because you didn't want to actually like insult me or something. So you were like, well, whatever, you leprechaun. And we were like trying not to laugh while we were doing that. And I have a picture. I don't know. I sent it to you.
Yeah, you sent it to me where we switched clothes.
Yeah. That was pretty fun.
Well, we're on that topic. Mel Gibson. He's been in the news again lately. Not for bad things. He has a movie coming out, Bloodfather, and in a few months, Hacksaw Ridge, directing that. I hope this could be the start of a solid comeback. Maybe not like the all-defining comeback for Mel Gibson, but I feel like this could be a good direction for him.
For sure.
I'm a big Mel Gibson fan, and I have defended him through the public crisis he's been in for the past few years. Jordan, I found out, really likes Mel Gibson too, and he grew up on Mel Gibson just as much as I did. He started rewatching Lethal Weapon films recently. I have an idea for Lethal Weapon 5. So, we're
on the same page.
We're on the same page. And I just want to do a video right now. I just want to catch in, on before everyone starts saying, I always believe...
Since we're getting serious.
Since we're getting serious. Because I know when Bloodfather and Hacksaw Ridge comes out, people are going to be like, I always believed in Mel Gibson. Yeah. We want to make it clear right here, right now.
Yeah.
We're ahead of the curve. Always believed in Mel Gibson.
Yes.
Even when he was saying stupid stuff he shouldn't have been saying.
We're not at all condoning like the stuff that he said.
Not condoning racism and sexism or anything.
It's like that was bad, but at the same time you gotta consider the fact that if all of us had our private phone calls leaked to the public, there'd be some pretty bad stuff that, would be out there. And it's not necessarily a reflection of who we are as people or what we truly believe. Sometimes when you're mad, and especially if you're drunk or whatever, you say and do some really stupid things.
Like, if you guys do actually take some time to do research on what happens to your brain when you get drunk.
Yeah.
It is not the truth serum as people make it out to be.
Yeah, they're like, no,
that's what you've been repressing the whole time. That's not true, first off. Secondly, it's like these incidents that happen, like, no, it's not okay that he did that. No. But these are moments of anger and rage. And everyone knows, anyone with a logical mind knows that when people get into a feeling of anger and rage, we tend to say things where down the road we're like, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, I love my wife more than anyone. And we've gotten in it's not like we fight all the time, but it's like we've been together for 6 years. So it's like we've had fights. There's things that I've said that I didn't mean at all.
Yeah.
But when you're in the moment and you're just seeing red, you say things where it's like you don't think about it. Things pop out. It's not how I truly feel.
And then you feel justified in the moment because you're so heated that you say shit that you're like, no, this is right.
Yeah.
But then down later on, especially with Mel Gibson, like none of these incidents that he's had, just to cover like this shit real fast.
Yeah.
None of the incidents he's had have been just him angry.
No.
Like he's drunk. His alcoholism struggles.
Yeah.
And alcoholism struggles are a very real thing in this world.
It's a sickness.
It's a sickness.
Yeah.
It's a disease. These instances he's had, these were private moments that were not at all meant to be displayed towards the public.
No.
Not saying that makes it okay, but ask yourself for a second. I'm sure as an internet person who has commented on videos, I will fucking murder this person.
Yeah.
Or this guy can go kill himself and die of cancer. And I'll kill him. All that shit. Imagine if you said it to someone in person or on the phone. Yeah. It would be like, that's fucking abusive, man.
There's things that we've all done behind closed doors that we would never do or say in public.
And it's just not an all-defining thing about one human being.
Yeah.
When I'm like at a table and people are like, Will Smith is an asshole. I'm like, what? Where'd you get this information? I know someone who met him and he was a dick.
Yeah.
I'm like, so sure Will Smith just wasn't having like a bad day or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Like there must be people that love him if he were to get this far in life. And same thing with Mel Gibson. Like there must be people that like love him for a reason. Yeah. Like what you were saying, and I've read a lot of interviews and a lot of people have come out and spoken saying that like I've worked with him plenty of times and he's a great human being. That thing that Robert Downey Jr. did when he dedicated his whole acceptance speech to Mel Gibson.
And he wants him to direct a Marvel movie and like
he's one of the most powerful guys in Hollywood right now, Robert Downey Jr.
And if anyone understands making mistakes and having to make a comeback, it's Robert Downey Jr.
To be judged for moments that got revealed to the public light and then that to be a stamp as this is who you are permanently now in the public's eye. It's just fucking ridiculous. To go and judge someone based off a public image.
One action.
Except for Kanye West. He's probably a dick in real life.
I was just about to bring up Kanye West, because the thing that bugs me is that Mel Gibson, before that, everyone loved him. He was one of the most beloved actors in Hollywood. Then he makes a mistake. He had a moment of weakness. Not that it excuses it, but he had a moment of weakness, and his career for the last decade or so was pretty much gone.
It's been hard. It's been a rough career.
But it's like there's people like Kanye or Miley Cyrus or the Kardashians
that Chris Brown.
Yeah, that do and say crazy things, and some, there's actors and celebrities that have done terrible things, but they still remain in the limelight. They still remain admired and a huge topic of conversation, and their careers live on. But Mel Gibson, who's a great actor and by most accounts a really good person, had made a mistake, and then his career was ruined.
He's known to have given like a significant amount of his money to charity. Him and his ex-wife were just gung-ho about giving as much as they can to charity. And I'm not Catholic.
No.
But I think it's kind of beautiful that this guy is very devoted to his faith. And for a guy to be a man of faith is a big deal.
In Hollywood, especially.
Yeah, especially in Hollywood. To keep your faith is a hard thing.
Yeah, it's almost taboo in Hollywood to talk about your faith. But it's like having someone like Mel Gibson that's really strong in his faith and has strong opinions and stuff. Even if you disagree, it's admirable.
When he said that drunken rant, he mentioned that comment about Jews and wars and stuff. Like, I see why that was such a big deal, because like there's that stereotype in Hollywood about how there a lot of Jewish people are run the industry.
Yeah, and it's accurate.
It's accurate.
It's not false.
But for people like judge him off the phone calls so much, like there was some stuff revealed that was not okay. But if we just heard that he had those phone calls, that would have been it.
Yeah,
that would have been it. But because we heard the actual calls, we suddenly feel like we know this person as who he really is like. And it's just fucked up. Because I think about like people like Chris Brown, when they revealed the court case or hearing and all the details of what happened. He nearly killed Rihanna. If we had like 10 seconds of him hitting Rihanna like on a video, then his whole career would have been doomed.
Yeah.
But because we heard about it, no video footage, we can forget about it.
Yeah.
And it's like that's just what happened with him. And at the end of the day, though, this is a guy who works in a field of imagination, of pretend, of art, not to represent his real life. It's kind of how I feel about Tom Cruise. Like, people judge him so much off the Scientology shit. I'm not a Scientologist, and do I really support it? I don't really have an opinion on it currently. But I love Tom Cruise's work. I think he's an amazing actor. I think he's really good. And I hear he's a great human being to other people.
I was about to say it. He's a hard worker.
He's
super positive.
Yeah. And Mel Gibson, same thing. It's like this guy he's a Hollywood legend, and it's so sad to see what's happened as of late. Dude, just look over the works that Mel's done.
Mad Max.
He did Mad Max Fury Road. It's like the most hail movie. And he's the guy who like started Mad Max.
Yeah.
He started Mad Max before Mad Max had a budget.
Yeah.
And
it was just as good. Yeah. Like, it was still awesome.
And
because of him.
And still, like to this day, like Fury Road shines more on supporting characters than Mad Max. Yeah. So I still walk away from Fury Road going, Mel Gibson did more than
grunting.
Yeah, exactly. The Lethal Weapon movies, for example, and then,
Air America.
Air America, yeah.
No, but I mean,
Bird on a Wire.
He really has done some really, really great movies and has been a part of some really iconic franchises. And like Braveheart, The Patriot, We Were Soldiers, all these epic war movies and stuff.
He was great at choosing big budget movies where he could deliver great performances.
Yeah.
Something rare for actors to truly find. Because a lot of actors are like, I do the big budget movies for the money, but then I do the indie projects for the performance.
Yeah.
But then you see a $100 million plus movie like The Patriot, and I find myself crying twice in that movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
That scene with like that last moment with Heath Ledger in that movie, I walked in 20 minutes before that happened. Like the first time I saw the movie.
Yeah.
And I was crying.
No, yeah. It's such a good movie. And
Ransom! Oh my god!
Ransom! That's Get the Gringo. We talked about that.
Yeah,
that was a more recent one.
That's the other thing too, is that beyond his past work, since the incidences happened, he still delivered great fucking work.
Even if it's not getting the same recognition as his past work.
The Beaver.
Great. He's
great. Wasn't an action movie at all.
But that's the thing. He's not only a great action star, he's a great actor.
Yeah, I don't consider him an action star. I feel like a lot of the world considers him a former action hero. Yeah. I know Mel Gibson as an amazing actor. Like, Ransom's not an action movie. There's thrills, but he's great in it. Braveheart's not an action movie. He's great in it. And he directed it. Fucking brilliant.
I'm related to the real William Wallace, too. Like I was.
No, he's related to the real. Yeah, so he has a personal thing here.
That's the movie that got me to be a huge fan of Mel Gibson. When I was a little kid, I watched that because my grandma told me I'm related to William Wallace, and that was one of my all-time favorite movies. And then from then on, I've been a diehard Mel Gibson fan.
He even came out with Edge of Darkness, which I know wasn't hailed as the greatest film, but Mel
Is
Gibson
that the one where his daughter was killed?
His daughter's killed. He goes on a revenge mission. But well, that's the plot.
It's been out long enough.
Expendables 3 comes out. No one really likes it, but everyone's like, Mel Gibson's really good.
He's a great bad guy, yeah.
Machete Kills comes out. People don't really like it. The last 30 minutes, Mel Gibson does a great job in it.
So he's making this comeback. Now he has Bloodfather coming out.
Bloodfather coming out, which I'm excited for.
Yeah, and it looks
Hacksaw
great.
Ridge looks
His
great.
beard and everything.
Yeah, Bloodfather currently has like 80%, 85% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see that.
Yeah.
And with Hacksaw Ridge coming out, it's like, I feel like this could be Mel Gibson's like the beginning of the comeback.
Yeah, and it was just announced that I think it's called The Professor and the Madman. It stars Mel Gibson and Sean Penn. They've both been attached to star.
I know they've been friends throughout this whole ordeal.
Yeah, and Sean Penn's another guy who's done some questionable things.
Did he like tie down and beat Madonna?
I think he did. Yeah. So I mean, and that's another guy where it's like it's a terrible thing, but it's like he's still his career's still going, but Mel Gibson's isn't.
It's because
we didn't see it.
Like Robert Downey Jr., Mickey Rourke, Sean Penn have all been able to break away from their their personal life instances because they were never as high as Mel Gibson ever was.
Yeah.
Because Mel Gibson was like the top of the ladder.
He might have been the biggest star, like at least top like 5.
Yeah. You go to like there was a while you go to like go-to celebrities. And it's like Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Mel Gibson. I think that's why Mel Gibson's fall was so publicized because he was one of the top dudes.
Exactly.
He's proven himself enough. I know he's gone to rehab, and it's none of my fucking business either. It's none of my business. Like, dude, I love your work, and I just want you to keep on working.
Just do it. Yeah.
And I think it's unfair to judge someone so much as if we really know the real them.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine what it's like to be that famous.
No.
I have a little over 400,000 subs right now.
Yeah.
I get a lot of comments, and I get recognized maybe once a week, which is awesome. Then I think about, what if it was like that all the time?
Yeah. What if I was Mel Gibson?
It would be so hard to just, recenter yourself and like focus on yourself.
You can't just go to In and Out.
You can't go somewhere and live your life. Like you gotta like constantly be in hiding and constantly gotta be. Eventually, there's gonna be a buildup of repressed shit from having to constantly hide stuff and hold stuff in. Like, it's going to happen. I think, like, if anything, try to understand why he might have had an explosion.
Yeah.
Instead of just going, he exploded, horrible human being.
And I've talked to people that have met him and worked with him. And if you want to get a real... Because, like, with celebrities, it's easy to act like we know them because we see them in the tabloids and stuff like that. If you want to really get a feel for the kind of person someone is, you talk to the people that are close to them and that know them and that have worked with them.
Real people. And not the people that met him one time or saw him do something or heard something.
Yeah. And I haven't heard one story, like some of you may not know, my grandpa's an actor. His name's Barry Corbin. He's done a lot. So, I've talked to a lot of people within the industry. Yeah, I've been in the industry for a while as well. And a lot of people I've talked to that have worked with Mel Gibson, none of them have said anything bad about him. They've all talked about how he's a good guy.
I heard he's one of the best people to work with on set. This was before the instances, too, that people have said, like, he is one of the most fun people to work with.
Yeah.
He knows how to create a very positive vibe.
Yeah.
Especially when he's behind the camera. He still knows how to create a vibe that is like people feel fun to create. He gave one of the best film adaptations of Hamlet. He gave his performance. He learned the Shakespearean language so he could speak it fluently. But I heard in between takes he would like moon people just to lighten up the set.
Nice.
I really feel that like this is his time.
Yeah.
What's happened has happened. That doesn't mean it has to define him forever. And let's just have a look at what he has to offer us now. And I like old looking Mel.
I mean,
it's gritty old looking Mel.
It's like Kurt Russell with he did like Big Trouble in Little China, Escape from New York, all that stuff back in the 80s. He didn't do a whole lot for a while. But now he's coming back with Hateful Eight, Bone Tomahawk, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and he's making this.
I
big
like
comeback.
it when actors embrace their older, grittier looking image.
Yeah, just this rough, tough.
Instead of trying to like, let me put as much Botox and everything to try to prevent myself from looking old. Like Mel Gibson's like, I'm gonna grow the beard out. I'm gonna get all the wrinkles going.
He just looks cool.
He's still got his.
I can't wait till I'm old. And look like that.
He's still got his really cool voice too.
Yeah,
that voice that was once Australian and then turned American. And my mom loves Mel Gibson. My mom, I used to go to my mom's office and she had a birthday party once, a surprise birthday from her coworkers. It was plastered every wall in her office with photos of Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson, though, I love you still, and I am going to watch Bloodfather opening night.
This is your comeback. Me too.
This is your comeback, and I want to tell everyone that I was there since day one for you, buddy.
Yep. We've never left your side, Mel.
Never left your side.
I had an acting teacher tell me once that every successful actor goes through 5 stages, maybe even more than once. First is I'm just going to say my name, for example. Who is Jordan Ross? Okay. And then it's get me Jordan Ross. And then it's get me a Jordan Ross type. And then it's get me a younger Jordan Ross. And then it's whatever happened to Jordan Ross. So it's kind of Mel Gibson has kind of gone through that.
That's
and
really
now
funny.
It's like whatever happened to Mel Gibson. And now it's coming back where it's like get me Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
So he's making this comeback.
Because at the end of the day, no one can do what he can do.
No.
No one could do it.
No.
Because he is such as an just acting. He's one of the most natural sounding actors ever. Never sounds like he is acting at all. It just sounds like he's talking. And he understands how to work within genre really well too. Same thing with Kurt Russell, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Like they're great genre actors.
Can hop from genre to genre, and they're just as like what women want. I watched that.
He's hilarious.
It's not a good movie, but yeah, it's a funny movie.
Maverick, he's great.
Maverick, like he can do anything. A lot of people don't appreciate that enough.
And we deserve that talent to be out there still.
Yeah,
especially since he's not that old. So yeah. Guys, that's our defense for Mel Gibson. Subscribe to The Real Rejects. Jordan has his movie channel. Cinematics. As if you're addicted to cinema, go there. If you consider yourself a true movie buff, go there now.
Do it.
And shout out to
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson's kids. Hope all 80 you were happy.
Yeah.
Why does he like kids?
I wish I was his son.
I bet he was stressed. Yeah, no wonder he was stressed. I bet I was one of his 7 sons.
Yeah.
Hopefully he noticed me.